Hello everyone, well I've finally succumbed and I've bought myself a Sebo X7. This is the newest Sebo upright and I use new in the loosest possible terms, and it's in a very boring brown box. Are we going to have another boring Sebo? I think we are, to be honest, but I am a fan of Sebo, don't get me wrong. But this is a case of evolution rather than a revolution. I've had a quick sneaky peek, I couldn't resist. Now, I will never fault Sebo for build quality because their machines are built to last. They started in a commercial environment and they make their domestic cleaners to the same high standard. So what I'm going to be unboxing and assembling today will be a quality vacuum cleaner. But is it good for the cleaning needs of 2018? Well, my future demo will hopefully find that out. But anyway, let's get it out of the box, starting with the handle. So it comes with a 10-meter cable, which is starting to become pretty standard with vacuum cleaners. It's really now, I think, the bare minimum you need with a vacuum. Even some come with 12 or 13-meter cables. Even if you have a small home, it just saves you having to unplug and plug in each time you move to a different room. So there we go, that's the handle, and it incorporates a handy thumb-operated on-off switch. Next, out of the bag we have the wand, which also incorporates a stretch hose. This machine will not reach up a standard flight of stairs. You do have to purchase the optional hose extension or buy one of the models further up in the range that come with it. I believe the model up from this, which is the navy blue one, does come with the extension hose as standard, as does the top of the range Pet Boost. Next out comes what has been the main change. They've still used a lot of the same components from the existing X series. In fact, if you look back on my videos, you'll see me unboxing the Sebo X 1.1. There's very little difference, certainly cosmetically. Whether it performs better, we'll have to wait and see. So here is the new head. Now, Sebo have introduced this model to correspond with the latest EU energy ratings. So it is now a lower wattage motor. I believe, I'll check, but I believe this is an 890 watt motor. The maximum allowable wattage is 900 watts now for vacuum cleaners sold in the EU. It's also increased filtration. Now this gets an A rating for dust emissions, so that is a big improvement on previous models. The head has been slightly changed and they've incorporated a deeper furniture guard to help prevent the machine from getting scuffed during use. And this is at the back, this is where the filter is located now on this machine, and they've also changed the foot pedal. It's mainly plastic where it used to have a metal component. They've changed it there. And the last piece of the cleaner to come out of the box is the bag housing. Now I think this is more or less identical to the X 1.1, apart from it's got a new frontage, but the rear, I believe, is just the same. They've not changed that. You've got the two tools built on the back there. And finally in the box we get, of course, the instruction book and one spare dust bag. At least you get one spare. Some manufacturers don't even give you one. There should be one fitted as well. This also has the little cap, so when the bag's full, remove it from the cleaner. You can place the cap over the top so it keeps the dust in when you're disposing of the dirt. Before I assemble this new Sebo X7, let's have a quick look at the energy label. So it's the Sebo Automatic X7 ePower model 91501GB. It gets a C rating for energy use, using on average 36.1 kilowatt hours per annum. It gets an A rating for dust emissions. It gets a D rating for dust pickup from carpets. It's 80 decibels, so that's the maximum that's allowable these days. 80 decibels, vacuum cleaners can't be any louder than that if sold in the EU. But by the hard floor marking, it has a cross, which means, according to the label, it's not suitable for hard floors. Despite what it says on the energy label, there are instructions on how to use this machine on hard floors in the instruction book. Now, I wouldn't use it on very delicate floors that are prone to scratching, but on most hard wearing floors it should be okay. If you've got delicate floors or carpets, you can buy an optional soft roller brush for this machine, so you might be better off getting that if you're concerned about damaging your floors. Or of course you can buy an optional extension wand and a hard floor brush. Right, not a lot to assemble. 3 main components: the cleaner head, the bag housing, and of course the handle. First of all, we need to attach the bag assembly to the motor unit. So basically it's just a question of lining it up. Now underneath the bag assembly here with 2 holes, they correspond with these tubes here, and there's also this black piece that sticks up. Make sure that's uppermost. That has to go into the slot at this side of the bag housing, so don't force it, just make sure you get it in the right position, which is a bit difficult from this angle. In fact, I'll turn it round, it's easier to see what I'm doing. There we go. Just have to locate it there, make sure that that's going in there. So that's it, that's right. Just need to push it down. It might click, I'm not sure. Yes, it has clicked into position. So that is the bag assembly on. If you need to remove it for any reason, if you want to put the machine back in its box, or you need to check for a blockage, you can remove it again by pressing this button here. Before you insert the handle into the top of the cleaner, make sure that this locking lever is in the open position. Next, you need to slide the handle into the top of the cleaner with this red arrow at the front. So just push it down until you can't see any of this red writing, and then turn the little locking lever to the closed position. For the final part of assembly, insert the black end of the hose into the inlet at the top of the bag housing until it clicks into position. Finally, insert the end of the wand into the hole at the back of the bag housing. Pivot the wand forward and push it down over the lug until it's securely in place. The cord is stored on a large hook at the top of the bag housing and this hook here behind the handle. So here's the cleaner fully assembled. Any of you familiar with the Sebo X series will see that it is a very similar vacuum cleaner to the one that went before. You can still buy the X series, the X1 and the X4, and they're considerably cheaper. This retails around £300 for the top price. You can buy this in John Lewis. It's around £300 from John Lewis. I purchased this particular one from Hughes online. I got a further £10 off, and I went through Quidco and got another 2.5% cash back, and of course free next day delivery. But I'm sure this will soon be available in many other stores. The floor head incorporates the familiar bank of lights that were featured on the first X1 machine, which I believe was launched in 1991. So it has an automatic height adjustment, so when the head is adjusting for carpets and floors and it's adjusting downwards, this down light illuminates. When it's adjusting up, of course the up light comes on. If you need to check the brush, if anything's been blocked, if you pick up something that shouldn't have been picked up, the machine will cut out automatically and the check brush light will illuminate. And when the bag is full or you've got a blockage, the check bag light will also illuminate. If you ignore the check brush or the check bag light, the machine will automatically switch off and the lights will remain flashing, so you know what the problem is. Sebo haven't altered the easy to remove brush roll feature. You still have a button on the top of the cleaner head here, so you press that down to release the end cap, and then you can just pull out the brush. So it's easy to replace and easy to clean. One of the main improvements of the new automatic X7 series over the previous range is the dust emission. Now, the previous X1.1 machine, the previous base model to this, got an F for dust emission. This now has an A rating, and that's because of this completely new filter design located at the back of the cleaner head. So to access the filter, we've got this little switch here. You just pull that in and then you push it upwards, and then you can take the filter cover off, and then there's a little red tab here. We need to pull that up and the filter comes out for replacement. You're not supposed to wash these filters. It's like a little pouch really. You can see it's got inlets there. Well, the exhaust air actually comes through here. It's got a nice rubber seal as well, so all the exhaust air from this machine comes through both sides of this filter. So that is an improvement. So if you were worried about dust allergies, the previous X series were a bit of a letdown, but that is a major improvement. So that just slides back in like that. You click the little red tab back on the lug like that, and then you can just place back the filter cover until it clicks into position. Another change Sebo have made is with the handle release lever. It's slightly different. It incorporates more plastic than the previous version. I'm sure it's still going to be very robust, but instead of the little metal bar you used to get, you've now got this plastic piece. So you press this with your foot to lower the handle, and there's no intermediary setting anymore. So you can lower it right down flat to floor without having to press the button again. Not a lot has changed on the underside of the cleaner. You've still got the same brush roll as previous models, and you've got the little trap door to help locate a blockage. But now the metal strip runs the full width of the cleaner head instead of stopping about here on the previous version. This is the wheel. The servo motor is here that moves the wheel up and down automatically to suit the height of carpet or floor you're cleaning. And as we can see from the rating label, the machine is now 890 watts, and of course it's still made in Germany. The rear of the bag housing is the same on previous models, but Sebo have slightly redesigned the bag door and the frontage here to give it a more up-to-date look. But again, it is very similar to the previous machine. You've got a slightly different lever here to open the bag door, which also removes the dust bag. So let's do that now. And of course, it takes the same size dust bag as previous X series cleaners. You can just slide that out to replace it. So internally that looks very similar, and of course the bag housing will be the same. Incorporates the S-Class filtration that runs almost the full length of the bag housing. You can replace that. You shouldn't really wash them. That just slides out. And there you have it. There's also the little lever here at the bottom, so you can't use the machine without the filter in place, and you also can't use it without the bag in place. Now, it's an unusual design, the long filter, and I've explained in other videos, but in case you haven't seen those. Now, some vacuum cleaners, bagged upright vacuum cleaners, might have the motor under here and a filter grill here. So all the dirt that's being sucked into the machine is piling on top of each other until eventually it's full, and of course it's blocking the airflow because all the suction is having to be pulled through all the dirt, so you're reducing the efficiency. So with this system, Sebo claim it keeps the machine operating more efficiently for longer. Now the reason for that is, I'll just pop it back in, because when the bag's in place, when the bag door's on, the bag sits inside the machine here. So it fills from the top, and the heavier dirt, of course, falls to the bottom. But because you haven't got the suction inlet where the filter is at the bottom, it means you're still getting more suction because the suction is coming from where the filter is. So even if the bag's quite full, you're still getting efficient suction from this machine, and especially with these newer fleece bags, you're not going to get the drop in suction that you would get with the old-fashioned bagged vacuum cleaners that used a paper dust bag. Well, it's time for this Sebo's maiden voyage. I'm not expecting any surprises. I have a feeling it's going to sound and feel very much like my Sebo X1.1. Before I end this unboxing, assembly and initial first look at this Sebo Automatic X7 ePower upright, I've put down rather an extreme amount of dirt. So let's see if this machine is going to pick it all up. I've even left some very large clumps. This is an extreme example. I don't expect you to have this sort of dirt in your home, and it's not really the sort of dirt this machine is designed to pick up, but let's give it a go. Well, that isn't bad. Better than I expected, actually. It's picked up even the large clumps of dog hair, but it hasn't got, and this is why it gets, I think it's a D rating for carpet cleaning. Now, the ratings are based on a certain amount of, and a certain type of dust pick up from a carpet. It doesn't take into account pet hair and other debris. So, looking closer at this, there is still some dust down here. There's still some of the fine dust in here that's quite noticeable to me. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. It's a bit hard to pick up, but there are some darker patches. Obviously, I've only gone one sweep forward and one sweep back. If I was to go over a few times, it probably would end up picking the rest of it up. Anyway, I will clean the rest of this up and then we'll end the video. Well, Sebo have come a long way since the launch of the X Series in 1991 with the launch of this brand new machine in 2018. Well, actually no, they haven't come a long way. To the untrained eye, these machines are very similar, and in fact they are pretty similar. There'll be lots of small changes, but basically there's not a huge difference between these two vacuum cleaners. Now, I am a little bit disappointed. I do recommend Sebo vacuum cleaners. They are reliable and they're very well made, and I have many models myself. My personal favourite in the uprights would be the Felix. The X Series are okay, but they're not my favourites. And to me, spending £300 on a vacuum cleaner that's not suitable for hard floors, according to the energy label, and won't even clean stairs without having to attach a separate hose, well, it's just not good enough. Sorry, Sebo. This is fine as an interim measure to meet the new energy label requirements, but I think a totally new upright is well overdue from your company. I would like to see a Sebo upright with two things. Obviously, I'd like you to retain the build quality, make it even quieter, but incorporate a brush roll on-off feature so it can safely clean hard floors, and also incorporate a stair cleaning hose into the machine so you can just take the hose off and clean right up a standard flight of stairs without having to attach an optional, in this case, stair cleaning hose. If you have any questions or comments about the Sebo X7, please ask below, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.